Hey guys, welcome to Stock Tricks with Nick. Today I'll be showing you how to get a free $100 from Etrade, how to sign up for one of their accounts, and a tour around their platform. Now I know everything that I said after the $100 was drowned out, so let's get to the good part. Etrade is currently running a promotion for new members that sign up before January 6th, 2020. If you're a new member and you deposit $5,000 into your account, Etrade will give you a free $100 back. And it doesn't stop there. The more you deposit, the more Etrade will give you back. For my millionaire viewers out there, if you deposit $1 million into Etrade, again, before January 6th, 2020, they'll give you $2,500 back. The S&P 500 returns roughly 8% a year. So if you can get a guaranteed 2%, the $100 they give you over the $5,000 that you deposited, that gets you already a quarter of the way there. All right, let's get you that $100. First thing, go to etrade.com. Then in the top right-hand corner, there's going to be an Open an Account button. Click on that. The first screen, it'll ask you to choose an account type. Now there's 3 different brokerage accounts and 4 different retirement options. In a later video, I'll go through the differences between brokerage accounts and retirement accounts, but for this one, we'll just walk through how to open up an individual brokerage account. So click on that. Scroll down and hit continue. The first question they ask you is, are you an existing Etrade customer? Now remember, only new members get the promotional $100, so you have to click on no here. So when you do click on no, it'll come up with blank spaces for your first and last name, phone number, email addresses, and your residency. So go ahead and fill that out. After you have that filled out, go ahead and click continue. This next screen is more for your tax purposes. So it asks your date of birth, social security number, marital status, number of dependents, your occupancy, annual income, liquid net worth, and your total net worth. So go ahead and fill this out as honestly as you can. If you don't know exactly what your liquid net worth is or if your total net worth is, it's not a big deal. It's just for them to gauge yourself as a customer. At the bottom, there's these 4 options to select any if they apply. None of them did for me, but go ahead and give those a read before you click continue. Next, it's going to have you create your investment profile. This just has you go over what your experience is while investing. So what are your experiences? I have a good amount of experience. What's the account investment objective? We'll say growth. How will you fund the account? It'll come from my employment income. What's the purpose and expected use of this account? I'll invest for retirement or growth, whatever suits you. It asks if you have any option investment knowledge. I'll select good because I want the ability to trade options. I've bought options. I've covered writing, and I've bought option spreads before. But fill this out in the most honest way that you can. At the bottom, it asks how many years and trades per year that you've done for stocks, options, futures, and bonds. Once that's all filled out, go ahead and click continue. And we see we're almost there. Next, you have to select where you want Etrade to put the money that you are not invested in anything into. For me, there won't be much time where my money isn't invested into stocks, so I just left it as the default. You can read through the options and see if one suits you better. If you want to trade with margin or trade futures, you can click either of these options. For me, I don't want to do any of that. If you want to grant your power of attorney or add a contact person for the account or access your money in a different way, there are all options here to do so. Then click continue when you're set. And now you just have to review your application. One thing I'll point out is to please check if you've entered your apartment number. A couple weeks ago when I was renewing my license, I forgot to add my apartment number and they couldn't mail me my license. So just last week, I had to go back, spend 2 more hours at the DMV just to add 2 letters at the end of the address. So go ahead and take your time while reviewing this information. Once you're confident everything is true, go ahead and click continue. It'll bring us to the last page of the application. Here, Etrade gives you the opportunity to read their account agreements, disclosures, and terms. And once you're confident in that, you can hit submit application and you'll be all set. After this screen, it'll prompt you to create your ID and password, and also an option to link your bank so you can fund your account. And that's all you need to do to set up an account. And then after your account gets created, you deposit the $5,000 into that or more. And once your account has settled, you'll earn that free $100. All right, now that we have you signed up for Etrade, let me walk you through the steps to make your platform look more like mine. So first, log into your account, and then in this middle right section, there's a Power Etrade. Go ahead and click the launch button, and that's going to bring you to Etrade's trading platform. So this is what mine looks like right now, but I'll scale back to exactly what you guys are seeing at the start. So we're taking away all these studies. All right, so chances are this is what you are seeing. And in the top left, you can select the stock that you want to be looking at. So we'll just check out Netflix for now. In the middle part of your screen, it shows the frequency that you'll see. So today I have it clicked on 6 months, but you can change that to year to date, 1 year, or even just today. And as you change the frame that you're looking at, the frequency of the candle charts are also changing. So for example, when you have today clicked, it defaults to each candle being a 5-minute segment. And you can change that to 1 minute up to 2 hours. So usually I stick to the 3-month or 6-month unless I'm looking even further back in the past, and that defaults to the daily chart, which is perfect for what I'm trying to do. Next, I'll show you how to build in studies to give your chart a little bit more technical analysis. So go ahead and go up to studies, which is just below the quote here. And you can go to all studies, and this is how you add studies to your platform. The first one we'll do is moving averages. So I have 3 different moving averages set up on my chart, a short term, medium term, and long term one. So I do a 20-day, a 50-day, and a 200-day moving average. And what moving averages are is they just take the closing price of the X number of days and take the average of that. So you'll see the line kind of trending with what the stock does. In Etrade, you can also change the color of your moving average. So I have my 20-day set at a green, and once you select that, you can hit save, and you'll see this green line comes through here. So let's go ahead and do that for the 50 and 200 day as well. For 50, I have it in red, so we'll keep it like that. And then go back to studies and put in your 200-day moving average. And if you don't see your 200-day moving average showing up on the 3-month screen, try and hit 6 months and it'll show up there. Oop, I colored that red. So if you need to change any of your studies, you can go in and select under the current studies, select it, and then you can change the colors, change the type, anything you want there. I'll put my 200 as a yellow. Great, so now we have our simple moving averages set up. Another technical analysis tool that I use is Bollinger Bands. So what Bollinger Bands are is it shows your simple moving average, and you could select whatever number of periods you want. I keep mine at 20. So it takes that 20-day simple moving average, and then it puts 2 standard deviations above and below the moving average to kind of give a channel for the stock to trade in. Now, if the stock is trading above that Bollinger Band, the top part of the Bollinger Band, it may indicate that it's being overbought and is probably going to be pulling back towards the moving average soon. The opposite of that is if the stock is trading below the lower bound of the Bollinger Band, it's likely that the stock is going to start to come back up to the simple moving average. So we'll keep that as 22 standard deviations and use simple moving average. And we'll select the top. Let's see what color we want. Let's go blue for both of them. And because it's tracking the 20-day simple moving average, I'm going to change that to green as well so we don't have two colors tracking the same thing. You can click this channel fill button if you want the space in between your Bollinger Bands to be lightly shaded, but I think that clutters up the chart, so I always uncheck that. So here, now we have the Bollinger Bands in blue, your 20-day in green, 50-day in red, and 200-day in yellow. And here's an example of it shooting past the Bollinger Band and immediately start to pull back to that 20-day moving average. Some other studies that I like is RSI, which is your relative strength index. That's another good index to show you if something is being overbought or oversold. And that is RSI, relative strength index. That'll track 14 days, and you can see if it's oversold, it's below 20. If it's overbought, it's above 80. So for Netflix right now, it's trending in the 48 range. That's exactly even. That just means I'm not learning much about this stock looking at the RSI in this situation. I also like to put volume onto my chart with green and red for up and down. That's great. This just shows how many investors are getting into position. So if you see a stock move way up with just a small amount of volume, then you have to be cautious with that move because that could just be a couple traders pushing that price up. But if volume is very large on that day and you see a drastic move, you may see that move continue either up or downwards. So I always love to check on volume before I get into a trade. And finally, MACD is the other chart that I use. I always go with the defaults on this, and that'll show up here. So the white line of the MACD is showing the short term, while the red is the long term. Basically, you want to be getting into a trade when the MACD, the white line, is flattening out and maybe coming back up. So basically, when you're looking at your MACD, you want to track the peaks and the troughs of it. So if you're trying to short a stock, you want to get in at the top of this rounded top. And if you want to be going long into a stock, you want to wait till it drops down, starts to flatten out, and then get in at the bottom. All right. I like to keep my chart relatively simple. I think you can overcomplicate your trading, and you're not going to get much more benefit out of adding study after study. For me, this is just going to be what I start with. If I read up on a different trading strategy and something catches my eye, I might add some studies. But for now, 3 simple moving averages, the Bollinger Bands, RSI, volume, and MACD are what I'll have on my chart going forward. If you have any questions about how to set the chart up like mine or other studies that you might want to add, feel free to comment them below and I'll explain them in a later video. Thanks for tuning in with Stock Tricks with Nick. Next week, I'll be posting my first weekly recap. See you then.